Hello guys, welcome back, and today I'm going to be ranking my top 10 best NHL forward prospects. Now there are a ton of fantastic forward prospects in today's NHL, but which prospects crack the top 10 and which forward prospect is the best in the NHL? Watch till the end to find out. Now we're going to start right off at number 10, and at number 10 I have Jordan Kyrou. He is a center/right winger with the St. Louis Blues. He is Canadian, also at age 20, and he was drafted 35th overall back in the 2016 NHL Draft. Now what makes him so impressive to me is that he has performed at a high level in all the leagues that he's come across in the last few years, and right now he's on pace to do the same thing in the NHL. Now so far in the AHL he's played 44 games, getting 16 goals, 27 assists for 43 points as a 20-year-old. Almost a point per game there. In the NHL he started out with the St. Louis Blues, getting 16 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists for 3 points. Not the best, he didn't really get too much consistent ice time, but he was still decent. And back in his OHL days last year where he got 109 points in 56 games, that was really a telling point for how skilled he can be. And again, he was 19 then, but in the AHL he's just been absolutely terrific, and he's taken that whole league by storm so far and has made an excellent transition to a very high hockey league. And obviously with Jordan Kyrou, the big telling point will be how he develops and transitions into the NHL, but he's had a great AHL career so far, and 1 year in, he's being almost a point per game, which is almost unheard of by a lot of rookies, but Jordan Kyrou has been able to do it, and he will be a very solid prospect and hopefully a very solid player in St. Louis for years to come. Now at number 9, I have Rasmus Kupari. He is a center with the LA Kings. He's a Finnish player at age 18. He was drafted 20th overall back in the 2018 NHL Draft, and Kupari would have been nowhere near top 10 a year ago, but this season in the Liga, he's just been absolutely dominant. Now, as an 18-year-old in the Liga so far, he has played 42 games, getting 12 goals, 20 assists for 32 points. And those are some terrific numbers for him as just an 18-year-old, putting up some numbers that a lot of rookies or a lot of players that age are not able to accomplish. And while we're seeing Kaapo Kakko play that great, he is also 18, I do believe. But Kupari has that age difference on a lot of players in the Liga. Liga being a big men's league, a pretty fantastic one at that. Kupari had a lot to deal with this season, and being with the LA Kings, he's going to have a lot of workload in the future if he's going to be that #1 center for the future. And he's looking good so far, though. I've liked how he's played. In the World Juniors, he was also very solid. He ended up playing 7 games, getting 1 goal, 4 assists and 5 points for Team Finland, who ended up winning gold, and he had a big part of that. Now next up, at number 8, I have Drake Batherson. He is a center/right winger of the Ottawa Senators. He's a Canadian prospect at age 20. He was drafted 121st overall back in the 2017 NHL Draft, and he's made big progress since then. But so far this season, both in the NHL and the AHL, he's just been playing fantastic. Now, Batherson has kind of gone back and forth from the NHL and the AHL. So far in the NHL this season, he's played 20 games, getting 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points. Not bad at all. And in the AHL, he has played 46 games, getting 21 goals, 34 assists for 55 points. Almost, that's 9 points above point per game for a 20-year-old in the AHL who is playing his first season in the AHL. That's what is so impressive about him. And I've always liked him, not instantly after his draft year, but in the World Juniors, he really did play well, really caught my eye. But he is a very solid prospect for the Ottawa Senators and is playing well in everything since 2017. But again, to put up stats like 55 points in 46 games as a 20-year-old in the AHL, that is not easy to do, and not a lot of prospects are able to compete at that high of a level. So Batherson will likely be a big part of the Ottawa Senators next season. Maybe he comes in the last month of the season for the Ottawa Senators, but he should get consistent ice time, as he's already proved himself to not just be an AHLer, but to be an NHLer at this point, and he's played well enough in the AHL to be this high in the rankings. Now moving on to number 7, and at number 7 I have Martin Necas. He is a center/right winger with the Carolina Hurricanes. He is a Czech player at age 20. He was drafted 12th overall back in the 2017 NHL Draft. And Martin Necas, I've always been a big fan of him since his draft. I always thought he had great two-way potential. But for the Carolina Hurricanes, he is starting to finally put that together in their AHL team, and he's playing great so far this season. Now so far this season in the AHL, the Charlotte Checkers, he has played 49 games, getting 9 goals, goals, 26 assists for 35 points. In the NHL, he played 7 games, getting 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points with the World Junior Championships team of the Czech Republic this year. A lot of the guys were pretty much non-existent, but Martin Necas was still able to get some points, playing 5 games, getting 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points. And when it comes to Martin Necas, he's never going to put up the elite offensive numbers, I don't think. He has potential to maybe put up some great offensive numbers in the NHL, but when it comes to his defense, that's what he really brings. He's very good defensively sound. He is very good all-around player, and for the Carolina Hurricanes, I think they obviously need some scoring. That is what they probably need right now, going forward at least, but Martin Necas will likely be the #1 center in the future. He's looking great right now, and to me, he's playing well in the AHL. Probably could play a little bit better, but at this point, he's going to be such a great two-way player, such a great all-around player, and I don't think it will matter in the end. Now at number 6, I have Morgan Frost. He is a center with the Philadelphia Flyers. He is Canadian at age 19 and was drafted 27th overall back in the 2017 NHL draft. And with Morgan Frost, he was looking like a steal almost right off the gate, as his last 2 years in the OHL have just been straight dominant. Now in the OHL so far this season, he has played 57 games, getting 37 goals, 71 assists for 108 points. And while the year before that, he did put up 112 points, he also did play 10 less games this season. So with Sault Ste. Marie, he was the dominant force there and has been for the last couple of years. And he's looking like an offensive juggernaut right now. The defense might be a little bit of a question, but the offense is certainly there. With Canada and the World Juniors, he ended up playing 5 games, getting 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points. Looked very solid for Team Canada, as most players on that team did offensively, and he's going to bring that for the Philadelphia Flyers. While I don't feel like they need too much more offense, he's not really a need for them personally. He is still a fantastic prospect that'll have a pretty solid career, and how he's looking like in the OHL right now, it's going to be really intriguing to see how he performs and transitions into the AHL, but right now, he's looking like a top prospect. Now heading on to the top 5, and at number 5, I have Kirill Kaprizov. He is a left winger / right winger. He is a Russian-born prospect with the Minnesota Wild, and at age 21, he has just been amazing so far. When he was drafted back in 2015, he was drafted 131st overall, and right now, he's looking like an absolute steal. Now, he is in the KHL right now, and so far this season, he's played 57 games, getting 30 goals, 21 assists for 51 points. About the same pace as he was last year, but for a player that young to be so dominant in a great league like the KHL, it really shows how good he is. Now, he is not officially signed with Minnesota Wild as of now. They're meeting more and more. It seems like Paul Fenton has a good relationship with them, so it seems like with Kirill Kaprizov, it'll be a matter of time when he actually comes over to the NHL and comes over to North America. Once his KHL contract ends, I think he will go to any NHL. It seems like Kaprizov is the kind of guy that will want to go over, and that is fantastic news for the Minnesota Wild, as he could be a dominant force and honestly a fantastic first liner for years to come. Now, some of you guys might know him because he scored the golden goal in the Olympics last year for the Olympic athletes of Russia. He was, I think it was scored in overtime versus Germany, if I remember correct, but he was the guy that scored that goal, and he's been a fantastic prospect, not just since then, but throughout his entire career since he's been drafted. He's been making big strides, and in the KHL, he's been a dominant force, being one of the top scorers in that league for pretty much a couple of years now, which for a player that young, to have that kind of consistency is very impressive, and that's something that the Minnesota Wild kind of need right now. Now at number 4, I have Aleksi Heponiemi. He is a center / right winger with the Florida Panthers. He is a Finnish-born prospect at age 20, and he was drafted 40th overall back in the 2017 NHL draft. But being in the second round and being since then, he's looking like a pretty good steal for the Florida Panthers and a very good prospect for the future. Now, Aleksi Heponiemi has been a dominant force in the Liga this season, playing 49 games, getting 16 goals, 3 assists for 46 points in the World Junior Championships with Team Finland. He was also amazing, getting 7 games played, 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points. And for Team Finland, he was amazing, one of the main reasons why they won the gold medal in that tournament. And in the Liga, I've always been a big fan of Heponiemi. Even when he was drafted, I thought the Florida Panthers would get a pretty good steal there. I loved how he performed in the WHL that season. I loved how he transitioned to the Liga and pretty much transformed into a great player into a men's league, which is hard to do. But for Heponiemi, he's been able to score a ton of points, able to play very, very good, and I think he will be a pretty solid prospect for the Florida Panthers. While he might not transition directly into the AHL or the NHL, I feel like if we give him a couple more years, he'll be a dominant force in the NHL, and he has the offensive tools to do that. Now into the top 3, and at number 3, I have Filip Zadina. He is a right winger with the Detroit Red Wings, a Czech-born player at age 19, and he was drafted 6th overall back in the 2018 NHL draft. And while Filip Zadina might have started off slow in the AHL to begin the season, he's been anything but slow in the last couple of months. Now in the AHL so far this season with the Grand Rapids Griffins, he has played 45 games, getting 15 goals, 16 assists for 31 points. Very solid numbers for a 19-year-old in the AHL. Pretty deceiving, but very good offensive numbers for sure. In the NHL so far, with the Detroit Red Wings, he's played 8 games, getting 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. In the World Junior Championships, he was pretty non-existent, pretty disappointing, only playing 5 games and getting 1 assist for 1 point. But when it comes to Filip Zadina, I've always been a big fan of him since last year's World Juniors, since that campaign in the QMJHL. I've liked him quite a lot, and while it was kind of maybe unrealistic expectations to see him directly translate into the NHL and be this automatic superstar, the Detroit Red Wings decided to take the patient route with him, develop him for a year in Grand Rapids, and bring him up to the Detroit Red Wings when he was ready, and he was starting to finally get his groove in the last couple of months in the AHL, and then they bring him up, and he's looked decent so far. I've watched a couple of Detroit games while he was in the lineup, and he's looked pretty solid, so I'm liking what I'm seeing from him, and next year he should be a pretty solid Calder candidate. And while Filip Zadina has taken some time to get adjusted to the AHL and the NHL, he has fantastic offensive potential, and for the Detroit Red Wings should be a superstar for years to come. Now, at number 2, I have Vitali Kravtsov. He is a right winger with the New York Rangers, a Russian-born prospect at age 19, drafted 9th overall back in the 2018 NHL draft, and so far in the KHL, for what his age is, he's been fantastic, to say the least. Now in the KHL, he has played 50 games this season, getting 8 goals, 13 assists for 21 points. In the playoffs, he played 4 games, getting 2 assists, and the World Junior Championships with Team Russia, he played 7 games, getting 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. And with Vitali Kravtsov, I always loved his upside. I always loved his offensive potential, but I really did not expect him to play this well in the KHL as pretty much in his year 2 campaign. And as a 19-year-old, again, to put up 21 points, that's almost unheard of in the KHL, but he has been able to do it and able to do it pretty successfully. And his team is not the best either. They didn't make the KHL playoffs, but they weren't that great anyways. They ended up getting eliminated in the first round, I do believe. But with Kravtsov, he is a dynamic forward for the future. His offensive potential is amazing, and honestly, I felt he could have scored more points in the KHL this season for how many highlight reel plays I saw of him this season. He's looking fantastic, and for the New York Rangers, is their best prospect, I feel, and will be an amazing prospect and player in the future for them. And when it came to Vitali Kravtsov, the question was always if he was going to turn out to be actually anything, because we saw some great plays from him, but his season stats that season were not that amazing, but it was always about if he would actually turn out to be something great. And Kravtsov, so far, is looking very, very good. Again, getting 21 points is not easy in the KHL, but he's been able to do it as a 19-year-old, which is a lot more easier said than done. I'm going to give a few honorable mentions, some players that were just outside of the top 10, guys like Jason Robertson, Eeli Tolvanen, Christian Vesalainen, Emil Bemstrom, Grigory Denisenko. Some guys that just missed the top 10. Honestly, I would love to put them in. Guys like Jason Robertson, I'm obviously a big fan of as a Dallas Stars fan, but I would have made it a top 15. Probably would have been a little bit too long, but I did want to mention those guys because, honestly, they are always good prospects too. Now, at number 1, in my opinion, the best forward prospect in the NHL right now, I have Cody Glass. He is center with the Golden Knights. He is a Canadian prospect at age 19. He was drafted 6th overall back in the 2017 NHL draft. And in my personal opinion, while there might be some players ahead of him in the AHL, ahead of him in leagues, maybe playing a little bit better, when it comes to the best overall forward prospect, I still have Cody Glass. Now, in the WHL so far this season, it was a shame that he wasn't able to play more games. He had a couple of injuries on his belt, but this season when he was playing, he was still dominant as always, playing 38 games, getting 15 goals, 54 assists for 69 points. Pretty nice number. And in the World Junior Championships with Team Canada, he played 5 games, getting 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. And while his stats might not be the best in the world, it's the overall ability of Cody Glass which makes him so special and what makes him the #1 prospect in my mind. While he's putting up amazing offensive numbers, which is fantastic, I love his overall two-way ability. I love how he thinks the game. The hockey IQ is just through the roof of Cody Glass, and the transitional game that he can translate into the AHL or maybe even the NHL next year for the Golden Knights will be bar none. And to me, I feel like he will play in the NHL next season. I don't feel like he'll play in the AHL whatsoever. I mean, he might play a couple of games, might get sent down here and there, but I feel like he'll be an NHL mainstay for years to come in Vegas. He'll be the first-line center after Paul Stastny maybe goes away. Maybe you have a guy like Holla retiring or something. But when it comes to Cody Glass, he just thinks the game like a completely different level, more than a lot of players are able to do. And for that, I feel like he will transition amazingly to the NHL, and next year, he'll be a dominant force for the Vegas Golden Knights. But of course, with this video, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. So let me know, what do you think about my top 10 forward prospects? Do you agree with my rankings? Do you disagree with my rankings? Let me know, and also let me know your top 10 forward prospects, and of course, for you personally, who is your best forward prospect? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you can click on this card right here to watch my video about the top 5 best prospect pools in the NHL. But that is going for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on my top 10 and what your top 10 forward prospects would be also. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.